It's like Game of Thrones, isn't it? We have um, had quite a bit of snow in and around North Wales over the last week. It was pretty hard to get around. We had a bit of a thaw the last couple of days, and essentially, we've got yet another named storm. It seems like every weekend, or at least once a week, we get a named storm coming through at the moment. So what I thought I would do based on that, or not on that, based on um, the weather, and there's a lot of things that I've seen on the interweb. You know, it might be this grinds my gears kind of thing a little bit, but hopefully this is just a sort of a longer drawn out version of why we need to be careful out there, because believe me, not a lot of people understand that. So before we go, before we go on, what I wanted to talk about was just this is I've rebranded it to the TMI, the Mountain Institute. This is because I've brought out this little app. Has a, if I go onto this, there are, you know, about 72 routes from North Wales at the moment. There's like a nature guide, and there's going to be some, you can ask me some questions, and we're going to start adding in these things. But before you can't do everything at once. So, yeah, these are going to be now sort of supported by the Mountain Institute, which this should all be online on the mountain.institute.com. And it's there. Now, one of the things that has been enraging me is I've seen quite a few people and centres, and this is like, I don't know whether they're rage baiting, the concept of saying something controversial to get uh sorry, there was two mics there. Saying something controversial just to get what do you call it, like clickbait, basically. You kind of clicking it. Some people have been talking about these things. They're called micro spikes. Some people have tried to make out that they are they call them crampons, and they talk about the advantages of, like, oh, they're light, they can go on anything. My issue with them is they they were basically designed for people that lived in places like Banff or Breckenridge or the Alps, where there was often a lot of snow cover on the ground for extended periods, and walking around town, people were slipping over. Now, if you try and think, okay, I'll take them up a mountain. Now, in particular, like, these ones are, they'll be good on the high street, maybe. I wouldn't take them anywhere else. These ones, these ones here, uh, waste of £12. Even these ones are, a little bit more robust. But their issue is as you go up the mountain, the snow will become harder. So at the moment, the snow has been fairly soft, and people have got away with this. In fact, I saw some guy that walked up Snowdon in budgie smugglers. Yeah, that's right. Like tiny weeny teeny swimming trunks and Crocs, and he descended. And you're going to see. I won't show it. Don't want to give him any more air. Not that he'll be breathing for that much longer if he carries on like that. He came down the top of the pig track from the Fingerstone. We'll show you it later. in Crocs, and it's like if you cut loose there, you're going like hundreds of meters down a very steep slope. And so the issue with these is they give you a false sense of confidence, and when you actually need them, so when you're right at the top of the mountain and the snow becomes like bullet hard ice or sort of neve snow ice, you effectively uh, they aren't going to be working as well anymore. They will basically, if they let go, you will die. So, you know, they're great. I mean, they cost £19. And it's like, great. If you're walking around Comidwall and maybe not even going up the high bit, they'll probably be great. If you're walking up a mountain, they have no place. You need ice axe and crampons, in my opinion. And anybody that says any different, honestly, some of the stuff I've seen online from some very reputable companies, I honestly think I've woken up in a parallel universe. You know, I've quantum jumped into some weird place. Um, you are much better off getting a set of crampons. Now, I've come to Grivel not because for any other reason other than there are 3 or 4 different sets of crampons here, and you'll see the difference. So I think they even do they do. I think Grivel actually do micro spikes for walking around Sham, but they've got different versions. So like this one here, the G1, is a walking crampon. It is designed to go onto, you know, not necessarily fully winterized boots. So you get like boots, a sort of B1, B2, B3, I think is what they say. Whether B1 is like a summer boot, it's got some flex. And the reason that these ones are good is that this bar here is actually like sprung steel, and it's thin, so it's designed to flex. You've got a really good kind of way to attach it to your foot. And what you want is if I hover on it, you can see the bail changes. The bail is this bit here, and it changes to something that will snap on. You can't snap on a crampon to a normal boot, but this one here you can do. The one that if I don't hang on it, you'll see it changes to the same as here. And you know, it's £96, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. Let's go full screen. This I bought when I was at university with my student loan, still fully operational, and I graduated university in 1998. So they're older than most people. The other decent pairs are G10s. So if you've got something that's not, it might be quite stiff. So it might be a 3-season boot, but it doesn't have like a little, they need to have like this little like latch here to click for the rear bail to go on. If they don't have that, then you're going to need the type of binding that's not on there. If you've got one, you can use these. And the G10s are quite good. So you have to, in climbing, I often have to tell people when they're, you know, if they have to retreat off a route, they're putting a wire because climbers are stingy. And it's like, you put in a wire, why didn't you put in 2 wires and equalize it with a sling? Well, I didn't want to waste £15. And I'm like, so you have now said that your life is worth less than £15. So here, you know, it's already like 20, it's like 30 odd quid. So it's only £60 more for a pair of crampons that would go on virtually any shoe. You also need to pair it with ice axes. And, you know, we've got classical mountaineering. Let's come out in here and let's see what they've got. Oh no. Activity, mountaineering, products. There we go. Ice axes, Bosch. And you know, you need even like a simple axe, and you know, like again, the axe that I've got buried in a cupboard at the moment because I've not used it for so long. Again, I bought that at university and it's still hanging in there. You know, it's there for you to cut steps, for you kind of use it like you kind of pop your axe in and make 2 steps, pop your axe in and make 2 steps, and it's like a third solid leg. And so the issue is that to understand how you fit crampons, how you use an ice axe requires instruction. And I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to tell you, you need to, it's not simple. There's this guy here, Vertex Mountain Guides. You can follow him on Instagram. Don't know who he is, from New England. But down here somewhere, yeah, like this one here is a, you know, and here and here and here and here and here. They're all amazing tutorials on how to fit crampons properly. And so for me, if you are going to head out into the hills this weekend, which I'm actually going to try and explain later that I wouldn't advise, if you haven't got ice axe and crampons, you're basically, how can we put it? You probably are putting your life in danger, and then probably the rescue team, because you'll see the top of Snowdon right now. We had a lot of snow. It was soft, which is quite easy to walk in. And yes, maybe for the first day you could have got up there safely in those stupid micro spikes. But now that it's thawed and refrozen, that snow becomes bullet hard. It's like concrete. So you need really solid boots. So when you stamp down, those spikes go in. If you've got those micro spikes on a trainer and you stamp down, all that's going to happen is the micro spike's going to come up into your foot and hurt the ball of your foot. So just be careful there. Let's go along. So, you know, this is the current view of Snowdon from, it looks like the top of Lydavour. But more importantly, this is a picture from the Clanbarris rescue team. This is the very top of the pig track. As you can see, the path is, you know, a tiny thin, you know, the width of 2 feet. This is where I saw this idiot in Speedos and Crocs coming down, and even when it was soft, he was slipping. Now, the reason that's an issue is if I'm just going to flick between screens quickly, is he was here. Now, if we go to the start of like the pig track, you know, down here, it's, you know, the lower bit, it's going to be snowy, but it's probably going to be not too bad. You might find it getting icy as you're coming up, you know, 500 meters. It's about, let's just go back. What does the forecast say? Tomorrow it's going to be in the valleys 3 or 4 degrees, and then 3 or 4 degrees. So every 100 meters, you're going to lose a degree or a half. So it could easily be freezing here already. So everything's going to be frozen, but you know, this isn't too bad. It's quite a big path, and you come round again. Same with down here. This is all, you know, the miners track's quite good. And it's, you know, this bit here is very steep. And again, it's above the area where it's going to be frozen. Microscopes spikes are probably going to be life-threatening here. If if you fall, there is potential that you're going to go all the way down to Glaslyn. But here is where that photo was taken. This one. So this photo here is looking down the top of this path. Now, I'm going to spin it around and do this. So you can kind of see that this is a slope. So if you fall here, you're probably not going to stop till you're down here. And people have. People have fallen down there. Some people have fallen and lived, and some people have fallen and broken stuff, and some people will have fallen and not been as lucky. You are, you're rolling a dice if you're not equipped up here. In fact, what the severe winter conditions developing on further snowfall expected. Storm Gretty moves across the UK. Winter conditions continue in the particularly upper slopes of the Pig Track and Clanberis Path. Recent also shows some unstable snow. I'm going to go into a little bit of like avalanche risk, and regardless of what they've dug in a pit, there's a few other things, but we'll get to that. So if we come back to the forecast, from not very long from now, we're getting like 2 millimeters of rain and snow. Surely it's centimeters. I don't know. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. I can remember when I was working a lot and we were up in Scotland, one of the instructors looked out the window one day and came up with the best describing word for like heavy snow blizzard. And he just went, "Oh my God, it's puking down with snow out there." So yeah, it's going to be puking down with snow. We've got strong winds that are going from northeast round through north and back through the northwest. And so by 6 o'clock tomorrow, they're going to the northwest. Now, what this essentially means is, I'm just going to see, there we go. Just going to move it back so it's in the right orientation and zoom out a bit. So at the moment, they're already saying that there's a massive accumulation here. You can see this in this video. This is like everything's been filled in. All of the sort of slight undulations are filled in with snow. It's going to freeze thaw. And so we're going to start off with the northeast wind. So the wind's going to be coming in, let's just, in that direction. Yeah. So what you'll find is the snow will be blown off here and will accumulate here for a little bit. It will then come to the north. So it will be coming straight down. So then it will blow over here and it will all start to accumulate on these aspects. It will scour this a little bit, but eventually it's going to come to this direction and it will then blow all the snow into this bowl. When you have snow falling on a strong wind, I'll show you some photos of snowflakes or some stuff of snowflakes in a minute. They're called stellar dendrites. I just love that name, stellar dendrite. If you see a perfect snowflake, it's a stellar dendrite. They shatter into small pieces and they make a very firm, hard-packed snow that you kind of know you're walking on, because as you step on it, it sounds like you're putting a knife into polystyrene, or feels like that. It's like it actually squeaks. And it's not that bad on its own, but it depends on what it's above. It compacts really tight. It's a strong layer that if it's got something good to slide on, which potentially it will have because we've had a freeze-thaw, so we have a nice slippery base with snow with this wind slab on, this whole area here will be pretty dangerous. The other issues with Snowdon are in winter, people often follow this train track down. And what you can't see here is this. You see this? These are spaced. They're getting closer. They're getting closer. They're getting closer. It's called a convexity. And you'll see in a minute that when you get a convexity, uh, it's it's putting stress on the snow on the outer thing, so it's more likely to go. But here, what can also happen is the snow builds up, and if you slip, it just gets steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper. And this is like we call it the killer convex. When I was in the Clanberries team, on one day when I was on the Clanberries team, we picked up 3 dead bodies and a live person from there. It was a horrible day. I can remember we went and we picked up 1 body, and we were about to come out, and we got a phone call from somebody who we thought was the person we had just picked up, the body we just picked up. We thought, and this person phones up, and he'd managed to stop, and the helicopter turned its light on, and there was this guy just like, yeah, just on the edge of nowhere. So even like the easy way, what seemed to be the easy ways up and the easy ways down in winter are not the easy ways up and or the easy ways down. If you look at here, we've got Thursday, heavy persistent snow. It might tell us. I'm trying to look at like where the freezing level is. Yeah, so 800 meters. So that's the top 200 meters. It's snowing. Sometimes they give you like the freezing level. Wind direction, speeds, wind gust, temperature. Here we go. Yeah, so on Thursday, 900 meters. So the freezing level is around 600 meters till about, it's going down. Let's go to Friday. Oh, no. Yeah, valley is 0 to +3. Freezing levels from 3 to 500 meters. So the freezing levels coming down the mountain. There's still strong snow. Amber weather warnings. People have struggled to even get parked. They haven't opened the car park. So yeah, I'm just going to show you this. If you don't know anything about avalanches, there is this book here. It's one of mine. It's like $1.99 for a Kindle version. If you don't have $1.99 and you would like a copy, contact me via YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and say, Mark, I'm too poor to have a copy, and I will just send you a PDF. I prefer people to have this information than to not. Now, if I go into this been talking away on this page, and oh no, and there isn't anything there. I'm sorry. Classic me. Let's just go to this one. Cool. See. All right. Is that bad? Yeah. Is it? Where is it? Where? Transition. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Sorry about that. All of this rant. I will go back to the top and. Oh yeah. So this is the most common angle. So most avalanches happen within this orange bit. Effectively below 26 degrees, it's not steep enough to put enough tension, but this is the magic window with most occurring at 38 degrees. And then the 52 degrees is the scarped slope. And this is if you've got two ice axes the same, you can work out a 45-degree slope. So again, this is another feature that you'll find in winter, which is cornices. If the wind blows this way, you get like a breaking wave, and then this is a scarp slope, which is usually about it goes up to like 51 degrees. It's yep. But you know, if you're walking here, you're definitely in a bad place. If you're walking here, you could still be in a bad place because it can still go. And there's some good videos of people dislodging stuff on ridges. Yep. There's a little bit of stuff on, you know, avalanches. Most people probably want to avoid anything above 2. You know, sometimes 3 you can manage, but you know, definitely 4 and above. And the very fact that they're talking about they've already seen dodgy layers in there, and you know, this is a diagram. You kind of have to be able to work out, a bit like I did with the map earlier, work out, you know, based on this, where is the snow going to be accumulated, and where do I not go. Sorry, and I just realized that basically, because the mic was off, I'll just go back through the beginning of this. Now there's a little bit of history of avalanches, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so this is about how snow grows. So there's loads of stuff on like different this snowflakes.com, well worth going if you like this. So there's loads of different snowflakes, none of them really common here other than maybe stellodendrites, graupaul, and rind stellodendrites. The kind of thing I was talking about when I was doing this is a stellodendrite. When it falls, it changes over time. If you're high up, it's going to do it slower because it's going to be colder. If it's lower down, it's going to kind of shrink down, break up, and then kind of cohere to these smaller bits more and more, and eventually become a larger rounded crystal. So people that know can look at the crystal size and go, "Oh, that's sintered down. It's become a lot more stable." These are, you know, sometimes if deep in a snowpack, cold, very cold bottom, warm at the top, you'll get transpiration of water vapor actually out, and as it goes through, it creates these angular crystals. They're beautiful to see. But that if you dig in and you find weird shaped snow crystals that are shaped like mini cups and facets, um, that's a layer that will collapse, which will then mean the other layers on top of it can then slide. So that's to be avoided. You can get like surface hoar, which is a similar process, but it happens at the surface, and you get these like feathers growing out from the snowpack. And I think that's where we got to. Let's go back to here. Yeah. So, my advice would be looking at this horrendous forecast. Oh, God, it's sunny again yeah, it's sunny, but it's going to be freezing on Saturday. Yeah. I predict the rescue team are going to be very busy, especially if people are ill prepared or they're doing stupid things. It wouldn't surprise me if there is a report of an avalanche from somewhere like this or elsewhere in Snowdonia based on the amount of snow that's been forecast. If that freezing level is above 500 meters, that's, oh man, it's almost down to the car park at Penny Pass, which is about 300-400. So it's not necessarily going to be the best place for people to go out and be safe. So just honestly really think about, if you do go out, do you have the right equipment? Do you have actual crampons and an ice axe, and do you know how to use them? If you do, you might find that, well, it might be so much snow, it'd be very unpleasant anyway until somebody's kicked in a track. There's no harm in turning around and coming back down from here before you've done it, or just turning around, and because the way that you came is safe. Yeah, I just find it quite bizarre that we that people think that microspikes are a good idea when it's like that out there. Just don't do it, kids. So that's me for now. I am going to call that a day, and then I'm probably going to have to edit what I've done to take out the idiot bit. So let's just come to